More than 2 years later, officers charged in the murder of George Floyd have been sentenced.
The Pentagon calls North Korea's recent behavior as being, quote, unhelpful and irresponsible. What led to this statement? Ahead.
Putin is facing criticism within his own region from other leaders for the ongoing war with Ukraine.
Election day is approaching, and tune in to see what the Portage County Board of Election is doing to prepare. All this and more as Portage Pulse starts right now.
We have voter registrations here in our office. We have like a drop box.
Good afternoon, Portage County, and welcome to this week's episode of Portage Pulse. I'm Lindy Griesinger.
And I'm Nikki Gasiewski.
The Portage County Board of Elections is getting ready for voting season.
They post deadlines on their social medias and websites to make sure people know where and when to vote.
It does need to be done by October 11th. We do have, if it's closer to go to the Kent Free Library, they have voter registrations. We have voter registrations here in our office. We have like a drop box outside our office that has blank voter registrations in it. You can pull up in your car, pull a form, fill it out, and then drop it in the box.
Secretary of State Frank LaRose wants to assign a few investigators to root our voter fraud. LaRose is running for re-elections in November, and he said illegal voting and election fraud is rare, but still worth investigating. 5 Ohioans say to democracy they're going into the November elections. LaRose plans to hire investigators for the new Public Integrity Division after the 2022 elections.
Springfield police shot and killed a man accused of shooting at them on Wednesday. The shooting happening after investigation for a zoning law violation. The township wanted the vehicle of the shooter to be removed from his property. The shooter, who has yet to be identified, was taken to Suma Akron City Hospital. No officers were injured during the shooting, but they will be placed on administrative leave.
Ravenna UH Portage Medical Center is here to stay despite the recent decision to seize labor and delivery services. The mayor told City Council on Monday that while the hospital is reducing one service, they will be expanding in other areas. UH Portage says they will still provide women and children services, and they are, quote, committed to the health of the community now and for decades to come.
With inflation on the rise, the cost of food has skyrocketed. Food prices are up 11.4% from this time last year, with the largest annual increase since 1979. But buying local could help ease the stress on your wallet. TV2 sat down with Linda Dossel from Dossel Farms in Springfield to see how shopping local can impact the local economy.
Prices did go up this year. Everything we put into the fields has gone up this year. A couple of things even doubled. It was crazy this year. So the prices will be higher just about all around. But if you were to go to a market or a grocery store or something to buy it, more than likely you're going to pay a higher price because they had to purchase it from a farmer and they've got to make a profit on it.
And at prices overseas. Russia and Saudi Arabia are slashing oil production, meaning an eventual increase in gas prices. This could worsen the global recession and strengthen Russia in the war against Ukraine. The production cut also amplifies tensions between major world powers. Oil prices already jumped this week and are expected to increase to over $100 per barrel.
Updates on Category 4 Hurricane Ian and how it was impacted communities in Florida after the break.
Thanksgiving is coming soon, and tune in to see how turkeys in Ohio are preparing for the holiday.
The College of Public Health at Kent State University prepares students for careers in some of today's most exciting health fields. Public health professionals impact lives by monitoring clinical trials, advocating for mental health, supporting active lifestyles, and more. The College of Public Health also offers open courses for any major, including its most famous course, Zombie Outbreak. Public health students can even study abroad and are encouraged to join the Public Health Student Alliance. For more information, visit kent.edu/public health. Public health, solving our problems together.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
For the first time in 5 years, North Korea fired a ballistic missile over Japan. Japan calling this an act of violence. Following the launches on Tuesday, the U.S. and South Korea responded with precision missile launch exercises. North Korea's launches are the 24th test this year, including both ballistic and cruise missiles.
We consider this behavior destabilizing, unhelpful, and irresponsible. And again, we call on the DPRK to cease these types of actions.
With tensions still high in Russia and Ukraine, Putin has been facing criticism from supporters in his region. CNN's Matthew Chance has the latest.
We're seeing the sort of upsurge in an extraordinary amount of criticism, which is really what you don't hear very much of in Russia traditionally when it comes to Vladimir Putin. But it's coming from a sort of very powerful sort of group of, section of society. We're talking about people who blog about the military, people who are very connected with his military circles and with his power circles. They're coming out and saying, look, this is not going well. There should be, a change made in the military command. And Ramzan Kadyrov, who's a figure who's very close to Vladimir Putin, who is the sort of president of the Republic of Chechnya in the south of the country, has even said, look, we should be looking at using tactical nuclear weapons to sort of turn the tide of the battle. Inherently, explicitly they're criticizing battlefield tactics and battlefield commanders, but indirectly that's a criticism of Putin, particularly because he's the person who it's believed has been calling the shots when it comes to this military operation. And so, he's facing an unprecedented amount of criticism from within, and also people are voting with their feet. We're seeing these hundreds of thousands of people attempt to leave the country to avoid being called up and sent to the front line. So a very precarious situation for Vladimir Putin at home.
More than 2 years after George Floyd died at the hands of police in Minneapolis, 2 of the officers involved in his murder will begin their federal prison terms. J. Alexander King and Tu Tao for the violation of George Floyd's civil rights during the May 2020 restraint that took his life. They were convicted of not providing Floyd's right to medical care and a second count for failing to intervene. The state trial begins October 24th. New in the Texas Uvalde school shooting case, Officer Crimson Elizondo is under investigation for her actions while the gunman shot and killed 19 students and 2 teachers. In body camera footage, Elizondo is heard speaking with another officer saying, quote, "If my son had been in there, I would not have been outside. I promise you that." In a statement, the district said it was, quote, "deeply distressed by the information that was disclosed," promising a review of the school's police department.
Student reactions to a homicide that happened on their school campus. CNN Danielle Zokowski was in West Lafayette, where a vigil was held this Wednesday.
I think everyone's in shock. Everyone's really surprised. No one woke up this morning and expected this to happen, especially not on a safe campus like Purdue.
Varun Chetta is from Indianapolis. Former teachers from the Sycamore School described him as brilliant, funny, and well-liked. Hundreds of Boilermakers gathered to honor his life.
Amongst all that he had was friends and family that cared so much and deeply for him. It's incomprehensibly difficult to deal with the loss of a loved one. So we ask all of you guys to join us in sending all of our love and support to the loved ones of Varun.
Student leaders say a goal of the event was to make sure all students still feel safe on campus.
We want students to feel safe, but also considering what comes after this, we don't want there to be any influx of hatred towards any group of people. We definitely want to make sure that everyone knows we're staying as a community and there's no backlash towards international students or Korean students at our campus. We want to make sure that we're staying as a group and protecting each other.
The Category 4 hurricane went through the southwest Florida coast, resulting in more than 100 fatalities. Evan Peterson from American Red Cross says that even though the hurricane is over, the danger is still present. Peterson recommends staying up to date on road closures and safe routes through Florida State Assistance Line before returning to your home.
President Biden is pardoning people convicted of marijuana possession. Biden is asking governors across the country to do the same. Governor DeWine said he's reviewing Biden's request. The pardon means nothing in Ohio, according to the head of OSU Drug Enforcement and Policy Center. Ohio doesn't use blanket pardons, so each convicted person will have to apply individually.
Wednesday afternoon, Ohioans who oppose abortion filled the lawn outside of Ohio State House before marching the streets of Columbus. In June, the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, banning abortions as early as 6 weeks. Currently, the heartbeat bill is on hold by a Hamilton County judge, which states abortion in Ohio is legal until 20 weeks into pregnancy. Ohioans remain deeply divided on when abortion should be allowed.
With less than 2 months before Thanksgiving, wild turkeys here in Ohio are already on the run. Miami Township Police responded to a call of a wild turkey breaking into and then out of a home on Monday. The bird entered the home by flying in through a window into the living room. Sounds like Thanksgiving dinner this year is going to be on the run.
Personally, that has never happened to me.
Same here.
All right, and that's all the time that we have for this week's episode of Portage Pulse.
When TV2 is off the air, stay up to date on top stories on KentWired.com and at socials at KentWired. I'm Nikki Gasiewski.
And I'm Lindy Griesinger. Have a great day, Portage County.
Are you tired of razor bumps and burn?
Too busy to shave every day?
Ditch the razor. Treat yourself to self-care that's smooth.
New Waxing Center, across from Ravina Walmart.
Less than 15 minutes from KSU.
Not ready to part ways with your hair?
Choose skincare with our custom facials and age-defying treatments.
Call to book a reservation
at Universe Luxury Waxing Center at 330-548-9570. 330-548-9570.